Hey, I gotta tell you, I found yesterday, if you have
Wait,
Kaiser Permanente,
let me just
see,
explain what the problem that I'm having here is.
okay,
Is I'm using microphones and a headphone,
uh-huh,
but I can hear you through my headphones,
uh-huh.
but I can't hear me through the headphones. Talking really loud.
Why don't you just do what you did yesterday? It
Test,
was perfect.
test. Oh, now I can hear myself through the headphones.
Oh, there you
Okay,
go.
that's better.
You sure you're not taking drugs? You
I'm
you
not
need a
taking
COVID test. That's what you need.
like Elon Musk.
Yeah, you need like
Or
four COVID tests and
two
see
positive,
and
two negative.
yeah, see, he needs one more. See, that's his problem. See, he's
Yeah,
such a negative person. See, you know, the more the merrier. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I got to tell you, I found yesterday that if you have Kaiser Permanente, you can become a transgender for free. And I didn't know that.
The problem is you can't go back for free.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there you go. It's one of those classic marketing things.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can, we'll
it's
give it to you for free. Oh, to go back? That's $7,500 million.
yeah, yeah.
It'd be funny. I saw some tweet yesterday by I follow a lot of local teachers because when our kids were young, I would volunteer in class all the time, right?
Yeah.
Except the year in kindergarten where I called my kid a moron, a retard. I called him a retard, and I get in a lot of trouble. And my response at the time was, "What? I'm not calling other kids retards. I'm calling my own kid a
Yeah, it's my own
retard.
kid. Why
He
can't I
knows
call
he
my own
knows he's
kid?
a retard."
Yeah.
I get in a lot of trouble for that one. And that was before all this social justice stuff happened.
So it
Now,
sucks so bad how, first of all, the word retard works perfectly. And
yes,
everybody knows that
yeah,
you're not talking about a developmentally disabled kid. In
yes,
fact, you don't even call retarded kids retards anymore,
no, no, you
you know?
don't.
But
I would never call a kid a retard who's a
I, I
real retard.
I
I
just
call,
saw I just saw a thing on YouTube. It was the Anthony Cumia show. You know, he did Opie and Anthony. He was
okay,
Anthony.
uh,
Anyway, they made a remake of the movie The Witches. Have you ever heard
uh,
of the movie The Witches?
no,
Okay, they made a remake of that movie, and the original one was with Angelica Houston, who was great.
mm,
And they made a remake of it, and there's a scene in the movie where there are all these old ladies that get together for the witch convention, and then there's a scene in the movie where they remove their disguises and you
uh,
see them as they really are.
uh,
And so, of course, in the remake edition, they made the little kid character that was supposed to be the little kid. They made him a black kid.
yeah,
you know. Okay, so they had to get rid of that little white kid, rotten
yeah,
little Nazi
yeah,
kid,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and so they got the white kid, but Anne Hathaway plays the witch, and
mm-hmm,
when she takes her gloves off, she only has three fingers. You know how
uh,
like you throw up the devil horns in
yeah,
rock and roll? Her fingers look like that. She has a thumb and two fingers.
mm-hmm,
Okay, and she's had to come out with an apology because she wasn't sensitive to people with limb differences.
that's
Okay,
funny. Yeah,
and then
that's pretty
then there
good.
was there was another thing where the new video game Valhalla Assassin's Creed came out,
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
and in the game they do a product description that says this particular character had their face burned, and
mm,
they had this horribly disfigured face, and somebody called up and complained, and they're changing it in the game using the word disfigured face because it is insensitive to people with facial differences.
so it's called
Now,
differences now.
now when people call up,
Uh,
it's not people, it's a person,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And apparently, like the new game, the Assassin's Creed game, is riddled with bugs,
yeah,
and it's like, okay, yeah, we'll fix the that offensive term that one person complained about,
yeah.
but fuck the bugs.
Yeah, there you go. Nobody cares.
It's ridiculous.
Anyways, I follow these Twitter accounts, and one teacher posted, "Thank God there's one of us in the White House now because of Biden's wife, right?
Right,
Second wife. It's his second wife, right?
right, yeah, Yeah,
because
she
everyone
was
else,
cheating on her husband with him.
yeah, everyone else in their family either died or is extremely hooked on heroin or crack cocaine.
Yeah.
But and I'm thinking, are you crazy? I would never want a teacher in the White House. I'm thinking, when we were back in the 5th grade, remember you had Mr. D, I had
Yeah.
Mrs. Young, right?
Yeah.
We knew all the states and all the capitals, right? We
Yeah.
would literally drill on those things,
Yeah.
right? We know twice as much as our kids know in elementary school.
Yeah.
No question about it, right?
No question. No question.
At the time, I remember frustrated with my kids were learning the states. It's like they only learned the states. They didn't really learn the capitals.
Yeah.
And they go, what is this, right?
Yeah.
And they keep complaining they have no money. They have plenty of money,
Yeah.
right? Where do you spend it? And every time I hear this, oh, it's for the children.
Yeah.
We all know that's not true. Everybody knows that's not true. And in California out here, they years ago, they passed this thing called Proposition 13. I think it's Proposition 13, which says you cannot raise property taxes more than X% per year. Because at the time, the houses were going astronomically high, right? So the property taxes would have went huge up with them. So what they did was they say, while you live in your house, we can't raise the property taxes more than X%. And that also applied to businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they tried doing this year is they tried reversing the property tax thing for businesses. They said, okay, for businesses, we can charge what the building is now, says it's worth. So in all the money we get, we're going to give to schools, right? They always come up with this. They're going to give it to schools.
Yeah.
And it's like the California lottery in the 80s. They said, okay, all the California lottery will be going to schools. It'll be billions of dollars per year, which they did, right? But what they also did is they defunded the schools the same amount they thought they were going to bring in by the lottery. So they didn't get any money.
Yeah.
So schools are always used as like a hook, a switch and bait type of thing,
right. Right.
And then they want this school teacher, this degenerate school teacher, by the way, to say, oh, it's a great thing. We're going to, and the schools have been, like you've been saying, the schools have been run by liberals for the past 50 years.
Yeah, like that.
And they're a train wreck.
Yeah.
They're literally a train wreck.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how
our
you
kids have
celebrate
never been
this.
stupider. They've never been stupider.
They've never been stupider. And it's like, yeah, I knew, I always butcher this name, but we've always known Crispus Adams was the first person killed in the Revolutionary War.
Yes, Crispus Attucks.
Okay, I knew you were going to correct me on that.
Yeah.
I always get the Crispus
Just
right
for the
because
record,
I remember that.
you screw every name up ever.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You call the new Supreme Court Justice Rona Barrett. Okay?
Yeah, Rona Barrett. Well,
Yeah.
It's close.
Close
And
enough.
I want to call the Chicago mayor Emmanuel Lewis.
Yeah.
And I know it's not him. I get
Yeah.
it. It's Rome something Emmanuel.
Yeah.
But I don't. Why do you keep giving these people money? It's a horribly run organization.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I don't see how they say it's great that she's in school. I just don't get that.
Yeah.
See, that's what drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the waste of the money, the throwing the money away drives me crazy.
Now again, I would have no problem with the throwing the money away if our kids were the smartest kids in the industrialized world, in the first world. But we are not even close.
Yeah.
And they're getting stupider every year. I mean, that's one of the reasons why companies have to demand a college degree, is just to ensure that their new employees at least have a high school grade level education.
And they can read and write.
Yeah,
that's what they want.
Yeah, because I saw a thing recently that it was in 2019, 34% of high school graduating seniors were proficient in reading, and only 24% were proficient in math. I mean, that's embarrassing. But it seems at least plausible, because when do you see kids reading books? I mean, they don't. Everything is a clip. Everything is, shorthand, like that. They write with emojis now. They don't know how to spell. They don't know grammar. They don't know anything,
And Google just corrects you when you type stuff in.
Right. And I'm not blaming the kids. What I think is the problem is the kids are getting gypped.
Yeah.
They're getting ripped off. I mean, COVID is ripping the kids off too now, but like, it's not their fault. I will blame the parents. The parents aren't standing up to this, and the parents are putting up with it. But But right now, like the high school that my son went to, they just show up and be there most of the time, and you'll get a diploma.
That's my son's going to Penn State. He's there right now. He's coming
Right,
back tomorrow, actually.
right,
And everything is online. And last year he was struggling, right? Because he went to classes because he's lazy. I
right,
know he's lazy,
right,
right?
right, right.
And this year it's all online courses and he's acing them.
Yeah,
And I know nothing is different. I
yeah,
know that for
yeah,
sure. I know
yeah,
my son.
yeah.
But now he's acing every class.
Yeah, because the
How does that
professors
happen?
don't care. The
Yeah,
professors don't care. They're just
yeah,
like, fuck it. This is COVID. This is a throwaway year.
yeah,
Just give them the A.
yeah.
And again, I'm not saying your kid's stupid. I'm just saying
No, he's lazy. He's
this
not
is
stupid. He's
well,
lazy.
yeah, well, this is what it is. Like,
Yeah,
they just look at it as a success. The biggest problem that happened with public education was when they started taking federal money. When
yeah,
they started taking federal money, now they have to do all these. That's when we started doing the testing and everything. And my daughter's a school teacher, and I've gone toe to toe with my daughter on this, on testing and whether we should be doing testing. And I mean like those statewide tests,
yeah,
and all this. But they have to do that to continue to get in the federal money. But if the schools would set things up with a school committee that you elect from your local town that had that weren't just like women with a heart, but
yeah,
were people with good organizational and management skills,
yeah.
and we adjusted the tax funding locally. So in other words, each town's school system was a reflection of how the town puts into it. But now it's not like that anymore because every school system is alike. They're all getting the same federal money. They're all addicted to it like a crackhead,
Yeah.
and they have to listen to whatever whack job moonbat, political party gets in control.
Yeah, because I remember when my kids were in elementary school, they tried to get rid of phonics, right?
Oh,
Phonics is
yeah,
where we
yeah.
learn how to read, right?
Right, right,
For
right,
2 years, they were pushing it. Nobody could read. It
right,
didn't work.
right,
And then
right,
they had to push it back
right.
because they realized what a horrible disaster it
Same
was.
with Common Core
Yeah.
math. I mean,
Oh,
it's just
Common Core. Gee.
have
My
you ever have
son's,
you ever looked into that? Have you ever like
yes,
done one of your
yes.
kids' assignments? It's
Yeah.
incomprehensible. It's
My,
incomprehensible.
my son and my daughter's grades went down 10 points, no joke, 10 points when they were in school because of that.
Yeah.
And they were great math people. My son is a great math person. My
Right.
daughter's a great English person, right?
Right.
And his grades plummeted. I mean, it was a noticeable, huge decrease in Common Core. And they said, well, there's a learning curve. There
Yeah.
shouldn't be a curve. Why? It
Yeah.
worked fine before.
Yeah.
I know how to do math very well. However they taught me, it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with computers now and everything else. And yeah, gabba, gabba, gabba.
Well,
But it worked. It gave me the core stuff.
anyway, he got in the car and we were in the car for about a half hour together. It was a long ride, and we were talking about what's going on with school. And he said that the problem that he saw was how many resources are diverted to special education.
Yeah.
And now, first of all, everything counts now as special education. There are so many new problems that they have created, and now tag it as special education. And that sucks up resources. And by resources, I mean money and time.
Yeah.
Like when my daughter teaches, and and she understood this was going to be a reality, that you're going to have to spend more time with certain kids,
Yeah.
and other kids are going to get it. That's just how life is. But like when that's just in a normal classroom. But when you have it where like you have all these special needs issues that you got to deal with, and they're not learning.
No, I drive by a junior high every day going to work. Before COVID, every morning there was these special kids outside, right, doing gym or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there were like 30 of them or something, and there were like 8 teachers or 8 aides there with them. That's a huge teacher to kid, ratio. That's like 2 to 1,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's insane. I understand these kids. I don't know what to do with these kids. I get it. It's a problem.
Now, when you say these kids, I'm not talking about like kids with Down syndrome or
Yeah.
kids that are like, have, they're crippled and they're in a wheelchair or something. I'm not talking about those kids. I frankly don't have a problem with that. Because like we had that. We had like kids in our high school that had to have special help and stuff like that. I didn't mind that, but they've created like ADHD. Now the kid has ADHD and like all these other, I can't even think of the names of them. All these other conditions that they break them out into groups. And so again, when you saw the junior high, again, if it's kids in wheelchairs, like I don't know how I feel about that. Like the alternative would be to create public special schools for them, which would cost money too. And probably even more money because you wouldn't have as many of them, but you would have to still build facilities for them. But the problem is that there's no common sense. It's like this with COVID. The COVID should be to people, take some personal responsibility and protect yourself, and take some personal responsibility. And, like when you cough, don't just cough, cover your mouth. I mean, that's common sense anyway. Now, people don't do this, but now they just think, I can cough and sneeze and burp and fart and everything because I got a mask on, And again, another.
By the way, burping with your mask on when you've just had a Coke is really painful to the eyes. It's disgusting. I just want you to know that.
Well, that's the other thing too. They're saying that like the rates of bacterial pneumonia are going up because we're breathing in all this bacteria. Yeah. And again, it is not Trump and the Republicans that have created these ridiculous problems. Their fingerprints are nowhere to be found on this. These problems are created exclusively by the Democrats, and they always have been. Yeah. And anybody that says they're not is a lazy voter that doesn't bother to read the whole article or doesn't read an article and say, what, that doesn't sound right to me. I'm going to look this up someplace else.
Yeah, like my buddy was talking about North Dakota yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. He's saying, well, COVID's coming back. North Dakota doesn't have enough hospital rooms to accompany all their patients. I go, okay, hold on. First of all, where did you get this news? He goes, I heard it on the TV. Okay. Have you looked it up? Oh, no. Okay. Let's look this up. That doesn't sound right. No,
it doesn't.
First of all, North Dakota has like 100 people in it, right? Yeah. They have like one city, was it Bismarck? Right. And I know they don't. North Dakota people don't yell at me. But you know what I mean. It's like, there's just nothing there, right? A lot of Indian tribes and stuff like that. They're on the border with Canada. We drove through Bismarck on the way across country earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. And so they have like one city. So they have like probably very few large hospitals. So if they get a few cases of COVID, they're screwed. And I heard that per capita, ratio-wise, they have the highest in the country, which could be true. Mm-hmm. But that could mean they only have like 100 cases because they only have a few people in that state.
Well, not only that, but who's to say these people need to be hospitalized?
Yeah.
This is one thing. I have a lot of hospital people, nurses, doctors, and people that I talk to about this. And hospital people, like people in the healthcare industry, have a totally different perspective on the world than the rest of us do, because in their world, everybody's sick. Because in their world, in their 8-hour day or 12-hour day, everybody is sick. So they do have to protect themselves all the time. They do see the problems of spreading germs. But in the real world, with a garbage man will do a whole career. Sewer workers, people that empty friggin', porta-johns. They've worked their whole lives and careers and years in their job without, getting these horrible diseases all the time, and so medical people, the so-called experts, the experts, again, have this weird view. So, and they tend to overtreat and be overly cautious because that's what they have to do in their career, in their life, in their world. Yeah. It's like the kid of a dentist kid. Like a kid whose parents are dentists. You've ever seen a dentist?
They can never have candy.
Yes, they can never have candy. Their teeth are always perfect. They go for cleanings once a month. All this shit. But the rest of us are like, I should have a cleaning in like 3 years. What the hell? I got to go in.
Yeah, it works okay. Hey, I really got to run upstairs.
Later.
I'll talk to you in a bit.